Hi, welcome back. I'm Glenny D and this be video 3. Today we are drawing a flying pod that lifts off our robot base. Here's an Airbus design, and in tutorial 2 we looked at this Aussie design, the blank robot base, and we took that from a simple base up into a more complicated design, and some of us would have traced that off to tidy it up, render it, mostly using probably color pencils for a lot of you. Now it's time to get this pod in the air. So are you ready? Grab your splat, sharp pencil and eraser, and let's begin. Here's our starting point. We will be drawing a simple cube. This is called crating when we use a very light outline to help us construct our drawing in 3D. This is step 2. Line up the tip of the splat to the end of that line. Now we'll be rotating the splat upside down. I'm aligning the edge to that line and slide it up into that position and complete your cube. Excellent. Now we're going to use a very light line. We'll be rubbing this out later. So this is just a guideline through the corners or diagonal. I'm going to measure a point which is 20 mil or 2 centimeters away from each corner. So do that in 4 places. That one's coming towards you. Right, now this will be the center for that ellipse. These are the little motor pods. Slide that ellipse down until it touches the center point, and then draw just that bottom half in. I could use a ruler and make straight lines, but I'm going to find something curved, maybe like that part of the ellipse, the opposite side, and it gives just that slight curve, a little bit more sophistication in the drawing. Great, now the fan blades. I'm going to slide that down just a few millimeters, and that gives the outline of the fan. So I'm drawing a series of lines here, and they're all facing towards the center of that ellipse. You can see it makes a tremendous thrust or downforce, and that's what lifts it into the air. Let's try again. Here I'm sliding to the halfway point. I draw the bottom half. Now I'm going back up to the top, down a few mil, and that's where the fan blades are going to reach. I'm going to speed up the drawing of the other 2 motors. I wonder how many motors you'll have around your design. Do you think it could fly on just 2? Watch this carefully. I'm measuring 1/4 centimeter, or about 2 or 3 millimeters, each side of that line, and then I'm drawing another guideline. Just keep it light at this stage. So these are the arms that hold on the motor pods. Let's try the same thing going across. I'm measuring up 1/4 centimeter and down. Now I'm drawing 2 parallel lines, and where they join onto the motor pods, I'm just going to curve that line up and down a little, just to make everything look kind of rounded and aerodynamic. These arms would most likely be made out of carbon fiber, so it's easy to get big curves. If you wanted to trace it off neatly, you could use an ellipse. Notice I'm using a different corner of the ellipse for each of the 4 curves. Now I'm replacing the splat back in the original starting position, sliding down and drawing 2 lines. What I'm drawing here is a storage space, which could be for batteries, it could be for electronics. I wonder what you can imagine in your design. Now the design would fly as a cube because it's probably only low speeds in the city, but why not curve it off? Lots of aerodynamic things are curved, so I'm imagining that's the front. And what about take off those sharp corners? And even a slight curve at the back gives it a little bit more character. Very lightly here I'm imagining the shape of a door or a hatch. To make it look more like a door, let's add a little handle. Yep, that's got it. And this could be a darker area on top, maybe it's a solar cell. Here I'm taking some grey pastels and I'm using either a tissue or a cotton wool ball, and just a rub on that. It needs to be a soft type of pastel, and I'm going to make this a smoky or grey coloured glass. And the trick here is to put just a tiny bit on. Don't cover the whole surface, because the areas receiving lots of light, big reflected areas, will still appear white. The good thing about this pastel is that you can see with the eraser it really easily rubs out. To make it look even more like glass, we need some reflections. So use the sharp corner of your eraser and just cut through in a few different places, a wide and a narrow. If it's flying through the air, we may get just a hint of the sun. While I've got the pastels out, I'm going to use a little bit of blue pastel. Notice I'm just putting it all on the same left-hand side, and then on the arms a little bit here and there, just a tiny bit. Well, let's put a reflection in there. Bring up my outlines a little more. Use a dark pencil if you don't have any art markers. If it's a smoky coloured glass, then if it's reflecting the ground or anything around it, it will be a darker grey. And the same with the pods. They will reflect things in their own colour. I'm using a paper mask to add a little bit more interest in that base. No hard and fast rules, just have fun, add some splashes of colour, light next to dark. Don't go overboard with the pastel, and have fun. Now you know how to draw a pod. I'm betting you'll be able to change the shape and make your own original design. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks, Michelle, and your students for suggesting this excellent project. I've had a great time and look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm Glenny D. Bye for now.